Cats, my name is Tom, I am the crypto investor, and it's time for our weekly market roundup. As ever, we start with the heat map showing us the top 100 tokens, and it paints a pretty clear picture that it's not been a good week in crypto. It is blood red. We have Ethereum down 16% at 2,900, Bitcoin down 11% at 42,000. Overall, it's ugly all over the board really. Layer 2's once more being the most resilient sector. And it's, again, Cosmos and Avalanche, which are doing very well. Other than that, really, there's not many areas where you can see much hope. Axie, slightly up. We've seen all the gaming and Metaverse tokens doing very well. Illuvium was added to Binance, and Axie, I believe, are releasing their staking options next week, and so there will be a yield for holding AXS token. Can't say the same for SLP, Smooth Love token. That is not looking so pretty. All right, let's have a look at the bubbles. Red with Cosmos and Celo being the outstanding outliers here. Celo, from what I understand, new to my radar. It's coming in at 59th suddenly after this 50% jump. It is I think it's a layer 1 solution which uses your phone number effectively as your ID, which could be huge for the likes of remittance and such, giving some competition to Tell. I looked at it very briefly and noticed I couldn't download a iOS wallet or an Android wallet, and so I haven't gone any further with it than that. I want to see real world application, but if I find that, play around with it, that could be very cool. We will keep an eye on it. All right, what have we got going on? So this week, the coming week, the big news is that Terra Luna are releasing Columbus 5 on the 30th, and that is their EIP 1559 moment. That's when Terra becomes ultrasound money. It becomes deflationary, and we are seeing Terra Luna very resilient in this drop on the back of that news. What else do we have? There's an update for Avalanche Apricots. Not sure what that is, but it continues to pump, mostly because they're giving $260 million, of course, away as an incentive program. So even though we are seeing Ethereum lose a lot of ground to these layer 1 alternatives, a lot of it is because they are paying for that adoption. They're paying out incentives for that. And here we go. Axie Infinity are beginning their staking on the 30th, or earlier, it says. We will see. So that is kind of interesting too. Cosmos staking options as well. I've been adding to Cosmos this week. Just it can't. The performance has been just incredible to see. All right. Ethereum continues to burn. We don't need to show you that. What we do need to show you is that layer 2 continues to get more total locked value. It's now at 3.2 billion, so another billion added since we last chatted about this. And it's not just Arbitrum. You do have the likes of like DYDX, which is an exchange, now has $500 million on there locked as well. So a lot of people using DYX, and their token is doing very well if you haven't looked at it. And if you haven't used DYDX, it's a really nice interface. I highly recommend checking it out. All right, let's get into some news pieces. So first of all, this week has all been about FUD and regulation. The first was Gary Gensler of the SEC, had a 1-hour Washington Post interview. He likes to play on his home turf. It was given, lots of questions that favoured his opinions. But he paints. This is a man who used to teach blockchain technology at MIT. He knows the space better than most people, but overall he believes that everything needs to be classified as securities, everything needs to be regulated. I quite liked what Ryan at the Bankless said, is that it's very hard for them to just continue to put every different cryptocurrency into court saying, right, we need to classify this as security, when you have so many and that proliferation of them. It's like a DDoS attack. If you keep on throwing enough at them, they can't keep up. And this is it. I think crypto just needs to be innovating at such a pace that regulation can't really keep up with it. And once you regulate and you're adopted to such a pace, that's when you get escape velocity. That I think really are at escape velocity now. That the genie's out the bottle, and it's something that can't be put back in. However, China would like to put the genie back in the bottle. This is recording this for you on Friday, about 5-6 hours ago. the Chinese government they've banned Bitcoin, of course, for the 8th or 9th time now, and it has rocked the market somewhat. And I don't understand why it continues to rock the market. China's an authoritarian government that already has it has the firewall around their internet. They recently this week banned reality TV shows. They're never going to allow decentralized cryptocurrencies to thrive and flourish under their watch. They want to obviously have centralized government coins, and so I have no idea why the market continues to have an optimism of the contrary to that. And so the decentralized crypto world is not going to involve China. They will have their own solutions for the People's Republic of China. So there you go. I think we should see some resilience coming back into the market. The other big thing this week was that the Fed, the Federal Reserve. So we have a couple of macro events we need to be discussing. The Federal Reserve ever since the big COVID crisis have printed 26% of all the US dollars in the history of the United States of America. Every month they have a $120 billion buyback program. So $4 trillion, I believe, has been printed so far doing this. And this has to come to an end, which is called the tapering, because of course you risk hyperinflation if you continue to just print and print and print. We saw that Japan tried that in the 90s. You can't continue to print to stimulate your economy. So they have to taper this, and it's all about managing the expectations of the market and landing that plane slowly and easily. And so this week we had the meeting. Will they, won't they? They didn't end the bond buyback, and they didn't give a specific date once more, so the market celebrated. And I think the Fed really had their hands tied because Evergrande, the large $300 billion indebted real estate company in China, were obviously weighing on the markets. And so if the Fed had then done the tapering, it would have been a two-prong hit on the market, and we could have seen a 10% drop or so in the stock markets. We'll have a quick look at the S&P afterwards. But anyway, now we've got this clarification from the Fed. The market seems to be a bit more exuberant, and we did see strong correlation between the crypto markets and the stock markets. And with all of these news events going on, and with all this kind of FUD and uncertainty, I think I just wanted to remind people of this very simple graph. If I haven't showed you this before, I've showed it once before. This is in white, the adoption of the internet from 1992 to 2006, and its path up to 1 billion users in 2006, or 1.2 billion users. And so that's a very fast adoption curve compared to most other technologies. And what you see in this kind of orangey gold is the adoption of cryptocurrencies, and you can see that, hey, we're at whatever this may be, it's logarithmic, so it's hard to see, but about probably 350, 400 million users. And you can see that we're adopting cryptocurrency faster than we adopted the internet. And if we continue at this trajectory, we'll have 1 billion crypto users by 2024. And the reason I'm showing this to you is that everything else is noise. Everything else is distraction. If you're investing in cryptocurrencies, you shouldn't be investing for 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. This is a highly volatile asset class. You should have long-term time horizons for your investment. And this is the only thing that matters. As long as we continue to see adoption, then everything else really is just noise. It's kind of weather, and this is climatic change. It's just the constant that needs paying attention to. So don't worry too much about the day-to-day concerns when China bans crypto for the 8th time. Follow this. Follow the signal, not the noise. All right. Snoop Dogg has said that he is Kuzomo Medici. Kuzomo Medici is a big old NFT collector. Snoop Dogg also, by the way, is collaborating with Sandbox, which is quite a cool Metaverse game, almost kind of like Minecraft, build your own world game. If you don't have Sand, it's a cool token, and I think it will probably do well on the back of the collaboration with Snoop Dogg. But anyway, I want to talk about the fact that Snoop Dogg is saying that he is Kuzomo Medici. So Kuzomo Medici, if you go on to OpenSea, you can see the account, and this is a account that has $17 million worth of NFTs in it. So you can see he's got himself 9 CryptoPunks. That's a few million just in itself. I think the cheapest CryptoPunks are about $350,000 right now. He's got himself some chromie squiggles, and all sorts of me bits, and then lots of smoking blunts and stuff like that, because it's the Snoop Dogg. But anyway, this is just another celebrity. I think he's got, how many followers have you got on Twitter, Mr. Snoop? He's got 20 million followers. People follow. And, we've seen all sorts of NBA basketball players in the last few weeks. Snoop Dogg now is obviously emphatically involved in cryptocurrency. One thing I just want to share with you, these are the oldest holdings if I go down to the bottom. If I go to the top, you may think, I'll just buy whatever Snoop Dogg's buying. Be careful. So there's all sorts of stuff in here that's just been sent to his address. The idea is that you mint a new set of NFTs and then you send it to Snoop Dogg's address and people go, oh wow, Snoop Dogg's got it, I better buy some. So just be careful when looking at his account. You can typically tell by the price if it's something that he's bought, or if it's something that is very low cost. So Snoop, you can get a feel for what he's up to. But anyway, it's just more confirmation. And on that as well, so we saw the big news this week that Twitter are allowing tipping in Bitcoin. So you will be able to use the Lightning Network to send Bitcoin between Twitter users. Again, it's another option for remittance for people. But I think the slightly bigger news is that they are also adding certification for NFT avatars. So if you set a ape or a punk or a pudgy penguin or whatever it might be NFT as your avatar, they are adding the functionality that you'll get a little tick of certification. So they will check that your ETH address is holding said NFT and accredit it. So for me, that really props up the NFT market, especially the avatar NFT market. And so if you have got your eyes on a NFT avatar that you like the look of, then for me this is signal to be looking to buy. I think this will prop up the price considerably. So that's cool news. And this is an article from the Telegraph. It's a bit old, but I thought this is interesting. This is talking about programmable money. So if you think about, it's only a matter of time. So still we have a central digital currency. China's rolling out their central digital currency, and it has smart contract functionality. And if you think about this, this is very Black Mirror, but the idea that you can have programmable money that will then have controls over how it's spent. So you think about how we will have benefits or universal basic income that are given to people, then you can have programmable restrictions within it that it can only be spent on certain things. So it can only be spent on food, can't be then spent on tobacco or alcohol. Who knows if it would even be allowed to be spent on crisps? Maybe it has to be spent on healthier food. But really uneasy feeling, but also it has a practical aspect to it, but really odd. Really just thought-provoking, really. I think I just wanted to share that with you because I think it's kind of interesting. Let's jump into the charts. All right, so let's start with Mr. Bitcoin, the big daddy. So it hasn't been a pretty week. Let's just bring up the weekly candle. We were consolidating quite nicely. It looked like we were breaking out a few weeks before. We'd climbed above 50,000. Obviously, we had that liquidation event, and then we had the kind of regulatory FUD this week that has pushed us down. I'm recording this on Friday afternoon. We have since bounced back and recovered somewhat. If we look at this on the daily chart, get a bit of a clearer picture. Until we got that China news, we had regained this resistance at 43,000, and we were chugging up quite nicely, and we got above this vertical line as well. Horizontal line. Diagonal, that's the word I was after, goodness me. But then we since got shoved straight back down with this big sell-off on the back of the China move. And we created at least we have a higher low than the previous low that we made on the 21st. So that is something, but we're in choppy waters. China's done a big old cannonball into the pool, and we now need to wait for those waters to clear. But the first line of repair really for me is to see Bitcoin back above 43,500. Again, this doesn't change any kind of macro thesis. We know that China's not going to be a big proponent of cryptocurrency. For me, the second line of repair is this one. I'll make it a little bolder here. I think, we have a series of lower highs, and we need to break that trend. You could easily clone this and make a case for us being in this kind of downward channel, and we need to end that downward channel to really jump back in. So if you're looking to pick up some Bitcoin, I would personally wait for this trend line to be beaten. So that's to be retained. I can't do words today. Anyway, I record all these live in one take. If you do appreciate the content, please do hit the like button, by the way. It really helps the channel, and I appreciate your comments. I'd like to hear from you, and subscribe and all that good stuff. All right, let's look at Ethereum. So again, you can see the same pattern on Ethereum. We have a series of lower highs, and we are in a somewhat downward channel there. So there's not really a clear line to be put on here, but this is what we need to get above to really have that repair. Now, if I take this onto the daily chart, we have these diagonal lines that Ethereum has been maintaining, and this one had been fairly pivotal, which we were holding above. We've since lost that. I cloned that line and I put it with this weekly close here, and it actually is exactly where we found support on this breakdown here. So it's quite interesting to see how that's lined up. Again, Ethereum really isn't looking that strong at the moment. Many other layer ones are taking its limelight. Looking on a shorter time frame, we really need to see. So we broke out of that channel and looked like we're moving up, and then we have lost that obviously since with China. We will see how this repairs, but again, it's murky. It's no clear real direction. If you want clear direction, then we need to wait for this line to be superseded. Goodness, can't do words today. I'm very tired. All right, let's look at the ratio between ETH and Bitcoin. So we again were channeling up here, and we continue to flirt with losing this lower support line for Ethereum versus Bitcoin. But we keep on wicking up above it. We haven't had a weekly close below it. And so that remains the same. We will see where we are on Sunday. But overall, I see this as a nice time to be buying Ethereum over Bitcoin. I think we should hold this. But it has been 3 weeks now that Bitcoin has dominated over Ethereum, and that is due to that uncertainty in the market. It's the safe haven crypto asset within the space. And so this is reflected in ETH's dominance. So ETH's dominance has now dropped below 18%. So we've had 3 weeks consecutively of Ethereum losing some of its dominance. Again, couldn't get above 20, couldn't hold above 20, since been rejected and moved back down. We've also lost this trend line here as well. So ETH just in the short term looking less appealing, really. This could be part of a wider move for Ethereum back into this lower part of the channel. We will see, but it's not really the token that I'm in a hurry to be adding to right now. It's other layer ones like Atom, Cosmos that are a bit more appealing right now. They've got that momentum, and it's good to buy momentum. Looking at Bitcoin's dominance, continues to come back down. So we've seen Ethereum's dominance dropping and Bitcoin's dominance is dropping, which just shows that these other layer ones are really picking up some steam. Looking at DeFi, let's look at DeFi versus US dollar. Continuing to lose ground. DeFi versus Ethereum. Let's take this onto the daily charts. So again, losing ground. This is with Ethereum not looking great. DeFi on Ethereum is really not looking great. And you can understand why. There's so many other competitors emerging, all these different layer ones with their own DeFi solutions. So, I still think that if you want the ultimate stability and security for your DeFi, then Ethereum's the best place to get that. But we will see. Right now, it's just prohibitively expensive to do any DeFi on Ethereum, with the gas prices being relatively high, and so of course people are moving over to Solana and Avalanche and Celo, that one we just saw, for example, the mobile phone one, CELO. Okay, and Metaverse has been looking pretty good. Metaverse gaining some ground in the last few days and looking quite strong. I do think for me, now I'm still dollar cost averaging into DeFi, but for me, Metaverse is a better play. I think gaming and Metaverse is where we see more and more adoption. It's where the users are coming from. And if you worry about this whole space getting banned, I mean, one of the things I do say is that, let's say America banned it. I highly doubt they would, but that's just squeezing a balloon, and the air is going to go elsewhere. There's other countries that would benefit from adopting it. But let's say that all kind of nation states really clamp down on it. Then it becomes the token of Web3 and the Metaverse, and it becomes the settlement currency in this new world that is slowly being built in kind of in-game economies and virtual worlds. So there is no killing this the whole space. The genie is fully out of the bottle, as I said. Looking quickly at Solana, has yet to really regain that upward momentum. It still looks vulnerable, really. Again, you would have to wait for Solana to be breaking this. In fact, let's set it a little higher, and let's put an alert on there, and I'll let you know. If you follow me on Twitter, TWilliamsB, I'll share the moment that alert goes off, and that would be a nice time to be jumping into Solana. So far, we're seeing support nicely coming in at 120 for Solana, but that needs to be broken for the upward momentum to be regained. Let's just quickly have a look at another few currencies that we don't normally look at. So Luna, as I said, has its Columbus 5 moment coming up, so that has my juices flowing. Where are you, Luna? I could do these as live shows, couldn't I? That'd be better. And you can see that, Luna it bounced really nicely. So Luna, when we have liquidation moments, tends to get hit very hard. And if you're looking at tokens to buy when the market is melting, Luna is often one of the best ones to be doing so, due to the way that their token has this mechanism within when their Terra Luna loses its peg, it repay. I can't quite explain it. I can't articulate it right now. But generally, it's a great token to be grabbing when the market is melting down. Really continuing to bounce back in quite strong way, and anything under 50 for me is pretty cheap on Luna. Finally, I just wanted to look at Cosmos because it just is unbeatable right now. So we can see we're into this launch pattern. I wouldn't be surprised to see this top taken out and for this to really continue to make its move. This isn't parabolic. This may look parabolic, but you can see there's curve in here. I wouldn't be surprised to see this, push up, maybe even head up towards 100 or so. It's just looking ready to really pop, in my opinion, even though it has had significant moves. I believe Luna is built on Cosmos. Correct me if I'm wrong. So even though it's had a strong move, I still think that this is a pretty nice play right now to be adding into Atom. Don't be afraid to buy high when you're buying momentum, when you're buying the wind on your back. It's much better than buying something that is very, very low but showing no sign of recovery. Not financial advice. I'm just a guy on the internet trying to lend a helping hand. I hope you found this video useful. Please do go back and watch some of the other stuff. I will be putting out more content this week. Have a fantastic week, and I will speak to you soon. Happy investing. Cheers.